students in grade 12, and welcome to our English seminar for today, in which we are going to revise Unit 4 in the student's book and in the activity book. Well, dear students, dear colleagues, let me first welcome my colleagues in the studio who are going to participate in this seminar. Mr. Karim Qassab, a senior supervisor in the Ministry of Education. Good morning, Mr. Karim.
Morning, Mr.
And
Basil.
Mr. Mazen Abdul Karim, an English teacher in Damascus Countryside Directorate. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Basil.
Well, dear students, as you know, today we are going to talk about Unit 4. We will try, in fact, to revise the most important skills, as usual, mentioned in Unit 4. Of course, we will try to focus on some grammar skills. When we talk about grammar, as you can see on the laptop, the Earth is at risk is the title of Unit 4. Of course, I started with the student's book. When we talk about grammar, we can talk about giving explanations and talking about cause and effect. Of course, here we can talk about some connecting words, Mr. Karim, Mr. Mazen. We can talk about what we call connecting words, or the words used to connect statements or clauses.
Or linking
or connecting, exactly. And when we talk about vocabulary, of course, we are going to talk about or to learn some new vocabulary related to climate and weather, and we can talk about prefixes in English grammar, especially re and miss. Of course, we have two texts. We can talk about the first text directly in the student's book. Before talking about this text, which is about desertification, let me try to clarify something to our dear students at the beginning of this seminar. I talked about the linking words, as Mr. Karim called them, but of course we can add something here today in this seminar. We can talk about relative clauses, the meaning of a clause, how we can use clauses, how we can use relative pronouns, etc. We will try to focus on this grammatical point today. Let me start, Mr. Karim, talking about the text, which is titled "The Spread of the Desert." Of course, here the spread of the desert, it means a process which is called desertification. This phenomena, when we talk about this phenomenon, what is the meaning of desertification, please?
Thank you, Mr. Basil. Actually, in the beginning, before we start talking about desertification, I would like to pay our students attention to that they must focus on the title. The title is very important.
Yes.
The title is "The Spread of the Desert." It means here that we are going to talk about desertification. The whole idea is included in the title.
Of course. The title should, let's say, carry the concept of the whole text.
Content.
Yes.
Yes, right. So here, desertification is a phenomenon or is a process. What happens in this process? The productive land changes into desert.
Good.
The agricultural land becomes desert and unproductive. That's it.
Thank you very much. So we can say, dear students, desertification, as Mr. Karim said, is the process. It is a process in which productive land changes into desert. It means the spread of the desert. Exactly. Now, another question, Mr. Mazen.
Yes.
Where does desertification occur or take place?
Actually, desertification occurs in dry areas where there is no rain and where the climate is harsh or severe.
Good, good. Now, of course, you said that desertification, as you can see here in the text, occurs in dry areas where there is no rain and where the climate is harsh. Now, of course, here in these places when desertification occurs, of course, the top layer of soil is destroyed. What is the result? When Mr. Karim, the top layer of soil is destroyed, what happens?
Then the land becomes no longer, productive or used for
We cannot
growing
use
crops.
it for growing crops or grazing
Yes, or
animals.
grazing, exactly.
Exactly, or grazing animals. Now, when, again, desertification occurs in these areas or in some places, of course, the people who live in these places, of course, must move out of these places and try to find more, let's say, suitable places for them. Where can they go, Mr. Mazen, and why?
Yes, they should go to greener areas.
Greener areas.
Yes, where they can find more food, more crops and water.
In order, of course, to
survive,
to
to
stay
stay
alive.
alive.
Because to find food, they need food, they need water. That's why they move to greener areas. Of course, a lot of the people living in those areas can survive, as you know, but some of them may die. Why?
Of course, because of the lack of water, the lack of food,
Good.
the shortage of water, the shortage of food,
And water.
cause the death of some people.
Good.
Yes.
So others, as it is mentioned in the text, dear students, other people may die because of shortages of food and water. Now, if we want to talk about the reason of desertification or the real cause of desertification, of course, some people may think that the natural changes in the climate are the cause of desertification. It's okay, they start the process of desertification, but there is another reason, which is the real cause, the main cause of desertification. What is it, Mr.
Yes,
Mazen?
actually the main cause of desertification is the human activities. The human themselves
So we are the real cause. The human beings are the real. The activities of the human beings are the real cause of desertification. Of course, in this text, dear students, we have some examples about human activities. Of course, I need the laptop, please. Thank you very much. Here, the first, we have 3 examples mentioned, and they all refer to activities of human beings or human activities. The first one, when we talk about farmers, because there is, let's say, or the population or the people, the number of people is growing because there are growing numbers of people, and all these people need food.
Of course.
What do farmers do?
So here it is, naturally or natural to
What do they tend to do?
Yes, of course, over-cultivate their lands because, as you said, the increasing number of people. So these people need food. Then how to bring or how to how to find food for these increasing.
So they need to grow more crops.
To overgrow, yes,
Now,
right.
when we say over-cultivate, let's go back to the verb itself. When we talk about the verb cultivate, it means to use the land for growing crops, of course, right?
Yes.
But when we say over, Mr. Karim, it means that we use it too much.
Yes, exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
More than ordinary. So we use up, let's say, the soil too much.
Exactly.
So it means over-cultivate the land. So when we increase,
when we use it more
when we use it more and more, a lot, it means to over-cultivate their land. Now, when farmers over-cultivate their land, Mr. Karim, Mr. Mazen, there is a result. What happens? What is the effect, let's say, of over-cultivation?
The soil,
What happens to the soil?
Over-cultivation can lead to poor land, and the soil becomes unproductive.
You see, the soil becomes poor and unproductive. Thank you very much. Of course, there is another activity, Mr. Karim, some farmers, let's say, used to follow, of course, which is overgrazing.
Yes.
When we talk about grazing animals, of course, it means to let animals eat
Of course, yes.
in a place, right?
field.
But
In
when you
fields.
say overgraze, it means the
Also
same.
here the same
to-
as over cultivating
More than
more, using
usual.
it more in
Yes,
more
yes.
than
the limits.
So, when farmers overgraze their land, what is the effect? What happens?
Actually, the effect is that the animals will kill off the plants and the grass in the fields.
This, let's
Yes.
say, strategy, let's say, permanently kills forever,
Yes,
kills
permanently,
off
of course.
grass
Yes.
and other plants.
Yes.
Very nice. Now, there is another activity which is mentioned here. I think some farmers cut down trees.
Yes.
There is a term here, Mr. Mazen, mentioned in the text.
Yes.
Deforestation. What is deforestation?
Deforestation actually is the cutting down of trees.
Good. Now, when we cut down trees,
Yes.
what is the result? What happens? How does, let's say, deforestation affect the soil?
It, when we cut down the trees, we erode the soil.
It erodes the soil.
Yes.
This strategy or
Yes.
this activity, which is deforestation or
Will
cutting
lead to
down trees,
eroding.
erode. It
Yes,
can lead
to
to erode the
eroding,
soil. To
yes.
erode, it means to damage slowly,
Yes.
to destroy
To
slowly.
clear, to
Exactly.
clear the
Exactly.
soil.
So here, trees are usually cut down by farmers, of course, to, let's say, to make more agricultural land, or
land.
to plant more crops, to
Yes.
use the land for growing crops. This is the purpose, in fact. Now, but when or once there are no more, let's say, trees or plants in the soil, what is the effect here? What happens to the top layer of soil?
Of course, it erodes, and therefore erodes means destroyed.
Yes.
And therefore the land becomes no longer able to grow crops.
You
This
mean,
is not there.
when we cut down trees, plants are all, let's say, killed,
Yes, of
let's say
course,
that,
of course.
there is nothing to stop the wind
Yes.
and rain from
Yes.
blowing or
Right,
washing away the top layer of soil.
Right.
There is
Also
nothing to
the
protect.
roots. Also the roots
You know,
of
the roots
trees
protect the top layer of
hold
soil.
and yes,
Exactly.
protect the soil.
Exactly.
Very nice.
So, but this is not the end of the story, of course. Desertification can create other conditions which
Yes.
produce strong winds,
Yes.
dangerous wildfires, and it can lead to even greater pressure on the most important precious resource, which is
Water.
Water. That's it. Of course, we have, let's say, some words in the text. Let's go back to them.
Yes.
Let us try to clarify the meaning of these words, Mr. Kareem, Mr. Mazen, please. They are at page 34, exercise
Yes.
2, please.
Actually, no problem. We have the word climate. Climate. What do we mean by climate? Climate is the weather conditions in an area over a period of time. It is called the climate. So it is different from weather. It is a weather, during a period of time.
For a short time.
Yeah.
Weather today, for example, is warm.
This is weather for today.
When we talk for a longer period of time,
climate.
Yes, it's
it
called
is-
climate.
Yes.
Yes.
Number.
the average.
Yes. If we have cultivate. Cultivate means to use the land for growing crops. It's called cultivate. So over cultivate means to use more and more.
Good.
Dust. What is dust? Dust is dry powder made of very small pieces of earth. This is dust that we can see, in the air. Then
One
we
more
have
word.
erode. Erode means to destroy slowly.
Good.
Slowly. Okay, it may take years and years to be destroyed. Yes, please, Mr. Mazen.
Okay. E, graze, which is number 7, to put animals in a field so that they can eat the grass. It is a verb. F, soil, it's a noun, which is number 5. What plants need to grow on? So the plants need to grow in a soil. Or G, survive, it's number 2, to stay alive H, white fire. It is number 6, fire that spread very quickly.
Fire that spreads very quickly. Thank you very much. I think if we have more exercises that can be done, here we have an exercise, in fact, at age
sorry, Mr. Basil, for interruption.
Yes.
We have, you know, a very important word, which is precious.
Yes.
Precious here also, it means
Valuable, of great value.
Value
Exactly.
or valuable.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly.
Thank you.
Yes.
We have exercise 1, page 36. I'd like to clarify the meaning or the difference between climate and weather. So here we have an exercise. We have a number of words in the books at the top. We need to fill in the gaps and to have a clear idea about the difference between climate and weather. So let me start
Yes.
with you, Mr. Mazen, please.
Yes. How is a climate different?
Let's talk about weather.
Yes. Weather is what happens to the air and the atmosphere outside. It may be cold or hot, wet or dry. It can be calm or stormy, clear or cloudy. The atmosphere changes depending on whether it's rainy or sunny. Thunder and lightning are also part of the weather.
Thank you. I think it's very clear. This is everything about weather. Mr. Karim, what about climate, please?
Yes. Okay. Yes.
Climate,
on the other hand, is the
Average.
Average weather.
the average weather in a particular place over a long period of time. A place where it doesn't, rain or over many years has a dry climate. A place with low temperatures for most of the year has a cold climate. Here in Syria, we celebrate wet weather because we need the rain. Information about the climate is useful for weather forecasting. It also helps farmers to know when it is the best time to plant their crops.
Thank you very much. Now, we have something in English grammar which is called prefixes. Of course, dear students, you should know that we have something called suffixes and prefixes. Of course, all these are called affixes. So we have affixes in English grammar. Affixes are 2 types. We have prefixes and we have suffixes. Prefixes, of course, what is a prefix here, Mr. Mazen? It is clarified in the blue books to the right of the page. A prefix here is
a word or group of letters which is added to the beginning of a word and it changes its meaning.
For example, we have the verb understand. Miss. Here we have a group of letters, 3 letters, miss. They have no meaning at all. But when we add them to the beginning of the verb understand, it can give maybe the opposite meaning, or to do something wrongly, or to understand something wrongly. Not to understand it. I mean, to fail to understand something.
And by the way, Mr. Basil, prefix, when I say pre, so here we have, pre means before.
Exactly.
It comes before the word.
Exactly.
Prefix.
And suffixes, they are added at the end.
Yes.
They are added at the end. Now, we are talking now about prefixes. So here we have 2 prefixes only. We have re and we have miss. Now, let's talk about them, Mr. Karim.
Here, re means again. I say rewrite. We ask our students to rewrite. Means to write again. If you do something wrong in your homework, then you must rewrite it again. So rewrite means to do it again. So here re means again. We have 2 examples here. I spilled tea on my homework, so I had to rewrite it.
So I spilled tea on my homework.
Yes. So I had to is the past of have to rewrite it again. Means to write it again.
Yes.
Number 2, during the storm, 3 houses were destroyed and had to be rebuilt. Rebuilt. So rebuilt here means to build it again.
Good.
Right.
What about miss, Mr. Clear?
Yes, number one, miss, which means wrongly or badly. Sentence number one, I misheard you. I thought you said we would meet at 9 o'clock. I misheard you. It means I heard you badly or wrongly or in a wrong way. Number two, the children were good. None of them misbehaved in any way. It means none of them behaved wrongly or badly.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you very much. I think they are very clear. Now we can go directly to the activity book. Let's start with page 23. Here, as you can see, dear students, we have another text. In fact, the title of Unit 4 in the activity book, The Earth at Risk, the same title. Now here, natural world. We have some questions, of course, about the text before, let's say, reading it. But we need to read the text in order to be able to answer these questions. Of course, here, the title of this text is shocking a little bit. In fact, it's strange at the same time. Feeding chickens is destroying the climate. So how could it be? When we feed chickens, we destroy the climate. Of course, the title itself is shocking a little bit. So the students here should read the whole text in order to understand the meaning of this title, or the purpose of this title, or the message,
and the title,
or the message from this title.
The title here is a summary of the whole text, actually.
Yes. Before we go on to talk about the Amazon rainforest, we have a call. Humam, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you, Humam?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good, thank you.
I have a question.
What is it?
In activity book,
What page?
54.
54. Just a minute, please.
Yes.
Causative?
Having things done.
54, yes.
Causative.
Number
yes.
one.
It is number one. Okay.
Sentence F.
Here, page 54, Mr. Mazen. Here we have the exercise number one. Complete these sentences using the correct form of having something, have something done, or having something done. It's okay.
Yes.
You may also have to think of a verb. Now here, of course, we need to use the causative verb have, Humam. If Mr. Mazen can answer you, it's okay, please.
So the question, Mr. Humam, about the causative?
The first sentence, yeah.
Or the first sentence?
The first one.
So I couldn't repair my computer myself. So you know, the causative, the rule is the subject plus have according to the tense, plus the object, plus verb 3 or the past participle. So I couldn't repair my computer. In the causative, it would become I had to have it repaired, or I had it repaired by computer experts.
Okay, Humam, I can add something here. Thank you, Mr. Mazen. Well, here, as Mr. Mazen said, there is a rule when we talk about the causative verb have. We expect that you and all the students in the baccalaureate know this rule. The rule says that we have to use a subject, then we have to use verb to have in the same tense as the tense of the sentence or the active verb, then we use the object, then we use the past participle of the main verb or the active verb. Here, when we use have, when we want to use have, we need to use it in the same tense, but if the sentence, for example, is negative, is written in the negative form. When we say, I couldn't repair my computer myself, it means here that someone else, Humam, did the action for you, right? Humam. So here, we need to use the verb to have in the past simple affirmative. We need to use it in the affirmative form. We can say, of course, we can say, I had it repaired. It's okay. And we can say, I had to have it repaired. It's also accepted. But here, maybe some some teachers, some students may say that here, because we have couldn't here, so we need to use had to have it. I mean, use to have it repaired after had to. So no, it's not necessarily. Here, couldn't, it means that we are talking here about something that didn't happen in the past. I didn't. It's the same. I didn't repair my computer myself. I couldn't repair my computer myself. It means that someone else did the action, so we can use here, I had it repaired. That's it.
Yes.
Okay, Humam?
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good luck, good luck. Thank you. Let's go back to page, I think, 23. Here we are. Now, we were talking about the Amazon rainforest. Let me ask you directly, Mr. Karim. My question is,
Yes.
we are talking about the Amazon rainforest. Where, first of all, where is the Amazon rainforest located? It's very clear from the title,
Yes,
the name.
of course. It is in South America. So it is
In Brazil.
located in South
South
America.
Yes,
And
yes.
Brazil has a part
course.
of the rainforest.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes.
Now, they say that the Amazon rainforest is an important environment, Mr. Mazen.
Yes.
Why?
Yes, actually, because the Amazon rainforest covers 5% of the world's land surface and is home at least to at least 30% of the world's animals and plants.
So that's why it is
Very important.
a very important environment. But at the same time, because of its size, as we can see, and location, it plays a very
vital
important
role,
part
yes.
or role,
Right.
an essential role in controlling the world's climate. How, Mr. Karim, does the Amazon rainforest play this role? How does it control the world's climate?
Actually, because when there are a lot of trees, these trees take in the carbon dioxide and release
And they
oxygen.
release oxygen. So
yes,
it does this, we can say, as it is mentioned here in line 14, it does this by taking in carbon dioxide and releasing oxygen.
Oxygen.
Now, but recently, large areas of the Amazon have been cut down.
Yes.
Many people are trying, let's say, to destroy, or they are in fact destroying this rainforest or important environment. Of course, there are many reasons. The first reason, of course, is the farmers. We are talking about farmers
Yes.
now who live in the Amazon. What do farmers do in the Amazon, Mr. Mazen?
Yes, farmers cut down the trees to have or to make more land for farmers, for them.
For growing crops,
Yes,
you mean?
for
What do they grow?
agriculture.
What do they grow?
Soya beans.
Soybeans. Why do they grow soya beans?
because they, export it to some other countries in the world.
In Europe especially.
In Europe especially as, animal food.
To be used as animal
Yes,
food.
animal
So
food, yes.
they export soybeans. They grow soybeans in the Amazon. First of all, they cut down trees and grow soybeans to be exported to Europe, to some countries in Europe, to be used there as animal food, especially for chickens. Because in Europe, in some countries, they feed their chickens
Millions
on
of
soybeans.
chickens, yes, and there are millions.
So that's why we say the title, Feeding Chickens is Destroying the Climate. Now we understand the meaning of the title.
So, Mr. Bassel, they cut down the trees to grow soya beans, which, they use to feed the chicken.
chickens.
So that's why the title, Feeding Chicken is Destroying the Climate.
Yes, thank you very much. Now, of course, millions of chickens in Western European countries, as it is mentioned here, are fed on South American soybeans. Now, of course, there are other uses of soybeans, of course, Mr. Karim. Do human beings use
Of course, and later on,
Especially the
started
vegetarians.
to consume soya beans as food.
So it is used also
It's
for
used
human consumption.
Also for human beings, yes.
So this is the first reason which destroys the Amazon rainforest. We have another reason now when we talk about ranchers.
Yes.
When we say ranchers,
Yes.
what do we mean, Mr.
Yes,
Mazen?
rancher, actually we have two words. Farmers grow crops, whereas rancher, they take care of animals.
Ranchers, they are the owners of the cattle. The owners of the cattle.
Yes.
So here they use the land for their cattle.
Yes.
So they cut down trees to use the land for their cattle.
Yes.
So this is another reason.
Yes.
We have another reason, Mr. Karim.
Loggers,
What do they do?
They cut down in order to sell the wood because it is very expensive. The tropical wood or hardwood is very expensive. So they use it as, in commercial goals or purposes.
Is there another reason?
Yes.
What is it?
Yes, we have the oil companies, they are trying to find more oil so that they cut trees.
So we can say now we have 4 activities or 4 reasons, in fact. All these things can destroy or are destroying the Amazon rainforest in South America. Farmers cut down trees to grow soybeans, to export soybeans to Europe to be used there as animal food for chickens. Ranchers cut down trees to use the land for their cattle, to use the land for their cattle. Loggers cut down trees to sell the valuable wood in the Amazon. Oil companies cut down trees also to find more oil.
Yes.
So 4 reasons, in fact.
Yes.
But all these activities or human activities in the Amazon, are they good for the economy of the region or not, Mr. King?
Actually, yes, it is. Yes, it is profitable. But
They can improve.
Yeah, of course, they can
the economy.
improve their lives, but later on it will affect the world climate.
Good.
And here it is the danger.
So
of
the
this.
activities lead to bad consequences to the whole area, to the whole region, not only to the region in South America, but to the whole world, the global environment.
Yes.
In fact, all this happens at the expense of the future of the global environment.
Exactly.
Thank you. Of course, in the rainforest itself, the rainforest is a very important place for a lot of tribes or people living deep in the forest. How or why is the Amazon rainforest important for the native populations, Mr. Mazen?
Yes, actually the Amazon rainforest is very important because the native people, the tribes who live deep in the forest, depend on the rainforest for everything they need in their life, from food, shelter, and medicine, and tools also.
Thank you very much. Here, as usual, we have some words. We need to try to focus on them, please. It is exercise 5. Let's match these words from the article with their meanings. Mr. Karim, please.
We have the first one, or A, we have consumption. Consumption means eating and drinking, the eating or drinking of something. This is to consume. Devastating means very destructive. Export means send something for sale in another country, in other countries in the world. Global means here affecting the whole world. Global means something related to the whole world. Illegal, which means against the law. Finally, we have tool, a piece of equipment for doing a particular job.
Thank you very much, Mr. Karim. Now, I think Mr. Mazen can talk about exercise 1, which is related to vocabulary. It is exercise 1 at page 24, after exercise 5, vocabulary. Please choose the best word to complete these statements. And I think such kinds of exercises are all important for the final exam because, you know, dear students, in the final exam there is a question related to choosing between two brackets.
Yes.
You have to choose the correct word. Sometimes it could be a vocabulary, a new word, two words maybe, a noun or an adjective, a verb or a noun,
Sometimes.
Phrasal verbs,
Yes.
we can talk about them, make and do,
Idioms
prepositions,
sometimes,
idioms, etc. Many things. They are all related to vocabulary.
Yes.
Let's try to do it, please, Mr. Malik.
Letter A, a country where the sun always shines has a dry climate weather. The answer is dry climate.
We say here, a country where the sun always shines for a long time has a dry climate, not a dry weather.
Yes.
Good.
Of course.
B.
You feel cold when the temperature is low,
Of course.
actually, not
Yes,
high.
yes.
So the answer is low. Number C, letter C, sorry. When there is no wind, we say that weather is calm.
Good.
Yes, and when there is a wind, we say that the weather is stormy.
Good.
Yes. The last one, D, farmer listen to the weather forecast. Actually, when we have, because it is for short period, we use weather forecast to decide when they harvest their crops.
Let's do in a hurry, try to do in a hurry, exercise 2, please, in order to go to grammar.
Yes, here we have also, we have about, you know, we have prefixes here. We miss here, recognize, misuse, and redo.
Here it is reorganize. Reorganize.
What did I say?
Reorganize. Maybe you said recognize, maybe.
Yes.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Yes,
It's okay.
yes,
Yeah.
reorganize.
It is
I'm
reorganize.
sorry. Yes, I'm sorry. I misheard you. I thought here now we must use it in the past. I'm sorry. I misheard you. I thought you said you'd prefer tea. So here we have, you know, misheard. B, I did my homework too quickly, so the teacher asked me to redo it. C, as we have some new employees, we will have to reorganize our office. And D, the last one, if you misuse the equipment, it will not work properly.
To misuse the equipment, it
Means to
means
use it in a wrong way.
to use it wrongly.
Wrongly or in a wrong way.
If you don't follow the instructions, maybe,
Right.
how to use the equipment,
It will damage,
so
you know.
it will not work properly.
Yes.
That's
It will not work
yes,
well.
Yes, yes. Thank you very much. That's everything about the two tests in both books, dear students, in the student's book and in the activity book. We try to do some exercises. Now we can go directly to talk about some grammatical skills. We have some linking words, in fact, in Unit 4. We promised you at the beginning of this seminar to talk about relative clauses also. Let me start with Mr. Karim, please.
Here we are talking about relative clauses. Actually, you know, relative clauses are called so relative clauses because they contain relative pronouns. We have relative pronouns, we have a number, you know, a big group of relative pronouns. But here now we are going to focus on who, which, and that. Actually, who is used for people, which is used for things, and that is used for both of them. Relative clauses identify which person or thing we are talking about. So here we use it in order to give more information about the person we are talking about or the thing we are talking about. Example, here we have Jill. Jill is saying, I saw Natalie Parker the other day. Tom, Natalie, the woman who lived in the upstairs flat. Look here, the woman who lived in the
He's
upstairs.
trying to define or identify.
Exactly.
Yes.
To identify the person who is.
Which person he is talking about. Yes.
Jill, no, Natalie is the student who failed all her exams. Also here, Natalie is the student.
He's talking about another Natalie.
Yes, another one called
Yes,
Natalie.
yes.
She is working in a shop in the mall now, the shop that sells leather, Look here, we have shop that sells leather goods.
Not the shop that sells sugar and rice, for example.
Of course.
So
not.
here again,
exactly.
we use the
to identify which shop they are talking about.
Good.
Then now we talk about who, which, and that. We said that who is used for people, which for things, and that for both of them.
Yes.
Who and which go after the noun. So after the noun which we are going to, to explain, to give more details about. Who and which go after the noun and at the beginning of the relative clause. Example, who refers to people, and which refers to things. I don't like people who tell jokes. Here I can't say I don't like people which tell jokes, because people are people, so we use who with them. All the time. There are several restaurants. Now we are talking about the places, about buildings. So there are several restaurants which do great lunches. So here we can't say who, because restaurants are things or places.
Yes. We continue about relative clauses. We can use that instead of who or which. Example, Mrs. Bryant is the woman that owns that enormous house. So actually we can use that instead of who or which. Another example, we saw the actual spacecraft that landed on the moon. With people, who is more usual, with things that is more usual. So that is more usual with things, not with people.
But we can use it sometimes, but it is more usual to be used with things.
Yes.
Yes.
Now we have exercise. Complete the following paragraph by filling the gaps. The Eden project, which here we have to use which because we are talking about a project, opened in the year 2000, is a living plant museum in the countryside in the southwest of England. Millions of visitors because visitor, we are talking about people who come every year, want to see plants from all over the world growing in this special environment.
Now we come to talk again about who, which, and that.
Yes.
Actually, these words can be used sometimes as subjects and other times as objects. Now let's see some examples about that. A relative pronoun who, which, that can be the subject of the clause. The man who has bought the house comes from London. So here who in this sentence comes as a subject, because if we omit the word who, it becomes the man has bought the house. So here it comes as a subject. The photo which took first prize was of a farmhouse. Also here which comes in the position of the subject, because we can, if we omit the word which, it becomes the photo took. Yes.
It is wrong to omit it here.
Right.
Yes.
The letter that came this morning was from my sister. Also here that comes in the position. Okay, yes. Comes in the position
the
of
letter. Yes, that came this morning. Was from my sister.
Yes, it is a subject here.
Yes.
A relative pronoun can also be the object of the clause. So we talk now, and we gave examples about a subject. Now we talk about object. The man who or whom you met yesterday is my friend. Who met the man? It is you. Then you are the subject.
So the man here is not the doer of the action.
No. The man is the person is the object.
Yes.
Because you are the subject, you saw the man.
We can use whom or also for people, but in case when the noun is an object.
An object,
yes,
right.
Yes.
Are these the cakes which Helen baked? Are these the cakes which Helen? So here which refers to the cakes. Who does the cake? Helen. The TV program that we missed is repeated this evening. Also here that comes in the position of or functions as an object.
Okay. We continue relative patterns with whose. whose it replaces possessive adjectives.
Yes.
Example: Samir is the boy whose passport is out of date. The original sentence, Samir is the boy or is a boy, his passport is out of date. Number 2, the girl whose photo was in the paper lives in our street. Here, whose passport mean his passport or Samir's passport. The use of relative clause. Relative clause have different uses.
Clauses here.
Yes, different relative clauses have different uses. Number 1, identify clauses. I'm sure I know the person who invited us. So here it identifies the person. The man whose car was stolen had to stay the night. Yes. So the man whose car, here we are talking about possessive adjectives. Towns that attract tourists are usually crowded and expensive. We are
Not all towns.
Not all the towns.
which attract tourists.
Yes, tourists. These clauses identify which person and which towns the speaker means.
Exactly.
The use of also now, we complete talking about the use
Another
of
type of clauses,
yes,
adding clauses.
Yes,
Secretary.
adding clauses. Andrew, who served us, is the owner of the restaurant. Here we give more information about Andrew because we know Andrew. Mr. Sami, whose car was stolen, had to stay the night. Sorry again. Mr. Sami, whose car was stolen, had to stay the night. Stratford, which attracts many tourists, is the place where Shakespeare was
So
born.
here we are adding extra information.
Yes,
the clause here is not used to identify.
No.
Because Stratford
Yes.
is a city, it is a well-known city.
Yes. These clauses add extra information to something already.
Yes.
And these can be omitted actually. They can be omitted when I say which attracts many tourists or something like that.
Yes.
The other one, we have
Now we can talk about time words.
Yes, time words
the
and
linking words. Okay.
Exactly. We have time words. My leg hurts when I walk. So when I walk, here after when we have I walk. My leg hurts when I walk. So this word when, links between two things. My leg hurts and I walk. I heard the news on the radio as and or while I was driving home. So here I heard the news on the radio as I was driving or while I was driving.
During the time when I was driving.
During the time means here while or as means during the time when I was driving home. When or after the speaker sat down, no one knew what to say. So we can say when the speaker or after the speaker sat down, no one knew what to say.
Yes, another linking words.
Yes.
As soon as I had left the house, it started to rain. It means immediately after I had left the house. Another example: I must get to the post office before it closes. You have to wait until the light changes to green, up to the time when the light changes
This is
to
the
green.
meaning of until.
Yes, until
to the time.
To the time.
Yes.
I have been sad since you left. It means from the time you left up till now. Also, we have but, although, and in spite of. The jacket was nice. We have to
Contrast here.
Contrast,
Yes.
but it was too small. Although, which gives an expected result. Although I liked the sweater, I didn't buy it.
So here it is an expected result.
Yes, unexpected.
Although I like the sweater, so we expect him to buy it.
To buy it.
But he didn't buy it.
Yes.
So
it's quite
unexpected
unexpected. It's quite the opposite of because.
Tom
felt perfectly calm in spite of danger. Here we have to know that after in spite of we have a noun, after although we have a clause which is subject plus a verb.
Also we have, Mr. Basil, other words, that link. Here we have to, in order to, and so that.
And I think it is mentioned in Unit 4.
Yes, in Unit 4.
Purpose.
So to purpose. To and in order to are used to express
But
purpose.
please, in here we have only
Yes, we can use the to infinitive to say why someone does something, what the purpose of an action is. Example, most people work to earn money. So to earn money is the purpose of working. We went to the library to get some books. Why do you go to the library? To get some. In order to, it is more formal than to. It is more formal. The government took new measures in order to reduce crime, in order to, Fuad was hurrying in order not to miss his
This is the
train.
negative form.
Yes. So that we use a subject and a main verb, and this is very important that we use here a clause. Yes. Farmers cut down trees so that they have more land for growing crops.
Yes.
And I'll post the card today so that it gets there on time. So this is about in order to and to.
Let's go directly to. I think we don't need to do the exercise. If we have more information, we can talk about them. I don't think it is necessary. It would be enough to do that. Just this slide. It is at page 19. 19, please.
Yes.
19.
19.
Choose the correct word.
Yes.
I'll phone you, please. It is 20.
Okay. Faria didn't go to school yesterday.
The Amazon rainforest has an important 20 here. Let me read it. We can use the laptop. It's okay. We can finish by this slide. The Amazon rainforest has an important effect on the climate of the world, so that, or because it covers such a large area. Of course, it is because large areas of forest have been cut down so that, or in order to, the soil is now dry and dusty. Of course, so that the soil is now, it is a result. Loggers cut down trees in order to sell the wood, because here we have an infinitive, we have to use in order to. Sorry for doing the slide myself, because time is over. Dear students, dear colleagues in the field, at the end of this seminar, let me thank my colleagues in the studio, Mr. Karim Qassab and Mr. Mazen Abdel Karim. Thanks for coming. Thanks for your participation. Dear students, till we meet again, we wish you all the best. Goodbye. Thank you.